Hi fellow gardeners, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am going to be continuing with the free tomato updates. So I've already got 2 videos out. If you haven't seen those, it's worth checking those out before we go into this video. But for today, what we're going to do is transplant some of the tomato seedlings that I got out of a grocery store tomato. I harvested the seeds from them and they are getting ready to be transplanted now into 1-gallon pots. So what I've got before me is, and don't tell my wife I'm doing this on the kitchen table, but I have a bunch of pots. I have some organic compost. I have some tomato stakes, and I have the green garden sort of twist ties that you can cut off and stake up the tomatoes. So in this video I'm just going to show you how I go about planting my tomatoes, and I'll show you all the tomatoes that we've got so far for free. I'm going to have tomatoes for all summer long. I think we have 50 or 55 plants from the one tomato that I harvested the seeds from, and I actually threw away half the seeds as well. Okay, so before we get into it, I'll show you what we're working with today. These are my tomato seeds. I have 2 sort of stages. The bigger ones were actually grown in the greenhouse, and the smaller ones here were grown in the house. So it just shows you don't need a greenhouse to do it. You definitely get a bit better growth when they're in the greenhouse, but you definitely don't need it. So these were just little peat pucks. I removed the material that was around the peat puck, and we're just going to plant the pucks just like this. I planted 2 seeds per puck, and in all 4 pucks that I planted, 2 seeds came up. So we're just going to have 2 tomatoes side by side. And then in the other containers, I'm going to plant a few of those as well. I'll pick some of the bigger ones. These are just recycled flower containers that you get with flowers in. I think these might have had marigolds in last summer. And I planted 4 seeds per container, so we'll break those up and get a few of those planted as well. Alright, so I'm just going to finish filling these containers here with the compost. I've already filled them 5 now out of 6. I'm not going to plant all 50 tomatoes on this video, don't worry. We won't keep you for that long. I'll try to keep this down to just about 5 minutes. So there we go. There's that. Again, please don't tell my wife I'm doing this on the kitchen table. Alright. So, got the compost in there. It's just nice organic dirt. I don't know that there's a whole lot of what the compost is that's in it, but I've used this brand before and it works really good for growing seedlings. So there's the dirt prepared. Now I'm just going to run over and grab the tomatoes. Alright, so I got the tomatoes all lined up here. We are going to do 2 of the big ones per pot, so I'm just going to place them in front of the pots first, and then for these last 2 pots I will figure out how to separate a few of the little tiny seedlings. So let's see if we can separate these out or if they're going to be a nightmare. I think being I put 2 seeds in 1 pellet, I'm just going to plant it just like this, and so I'll let you see there. Since you're watching, I guess I'll let you see. I'm just going to plant this whole pellet. The pellets are very handy. I do recommend them for starting seeds, because you can plant just the whole peat pellet. The roots, as you can see, I'll show you a close-up here, are actually starting to come around out of the peat pellet. I removed the outer cloth that was there. There we go. Now you can see, so you can see all the roots there. So that's what I'm just going to plant. These peat pellets you can get at any garden center, and they actually rehydrate. They're little thin discs to start with. And I just put 2 seeds in each one. I think I got these peat pellets on a clearance rack. They were 25 cents for a 10-pack of them. But they come in really handy for planting seeds. I really enjoy using them. There we go, back to this. And so I'll just make my divots here and plant those. Now these are just 1-gallon containers, they're not going to be big enough for the tomato. There is going to be, unfortunately, there's going to be another update that is making these go into bigger, probably 3 or 5 gallon tubs, especially now that there's 2 tomatoes per. So there's those ones planted. And I'll swing you this way. And I'll show you in here. So we have 4 tomatoes per. What I'm going to do, I would love to recycle these further. So I'm just going to pop it out and we'll see what we can come up with. There we go. So we got there 4 tomatoes here. And I guess with these ones I'm going to do 2 tomatoes per plant or per pot. These ones I do have the luxury though of being able to separate because they're a little bit smaller size still. And I'm just going to take my thumb and make a hole up here and slide the little seedling right in. So now that because we're growing them in the house, they are going to be a little bit weaker of a plant. We wouldn't want to throw them right outside because if on a sunny day the leaves would have a good probability of burning. Same with the greenhouse ones. The sun intensity, although the heat in the greenhouse is nice for them, there's nothing that beats a warm sunny day outside for light intensity. So we got to make sure when we introduce these outside that we introduce them slowly. For the first little while, just put them up for a couple hours into the sun every day until they get acclimatized. That probably shouldn't take any more than a week or so. There we go. So these guys are still small enough I don't have to worry about staking them, but these bigger ones I think I'm also going to stake. So I'll grab the stakes and I'll be right back. Alright, and then because there's 2 plants per, I'm going to try to stake in between the 2 plants there, just like so. Now I'm using a large stake because I am anticipating good growth for them. And all I'm going to do for now is stake them up, and I will just continue to loosely stake them as they grow, and that way we'll have a nice straight plant. So there's that guy. These 2 are nice tomatoes there. Really nice tomatoes. And right now, being they're so tiny, I'm not worrying about staking them individually or anything. I'm basically just worrying about keeping them upright so they don't flop over. If they get wet, they'll have a tendency to lean, so the stake's just going to prevent that. So I'm going to go ahead and stake these other ones, and then I'll show you the finished product. Alright guys, that is it for planting my tomato seedlings today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a little bit about planting seedling tomatoes. And I do hope that you check out my other videos on how I got these seeds, how I harvest them out of tomatoes for free. And yeah, we're well on our way to having a free tomato plantation with nothing more than 1 store-bought tomato and taking the seeds out of it. So, thanks for tuning in, and I'll give you an update in a month or 2. Thanks for watching, guys.